Hello everyone and welcome back to round 3, well game 3 of the match Liren versus Magnus Carlsen in the Magnus Invitational. And if you thought that the madness would end after 2 games, well you couldn't be more wrong, because here Ding again goes for e4 and Magnus now replies with c5, and you'd think, okay, he's now gonna go for some normal stuff, as he did prepare this for his World Chess Championship match against Caruana. So knight f3, knight c6, and bishop to b5. Ding goes for the Rossolimo, and here if there was a normal game, or you might go for g6, which is the most often played move here. If you were having a really good day, you might even go for g5, which is played maybe if you're really having a good day, and if maybe it's not a really important game, maybe it's a blitz game or something. But here Magnus goes for h5, and already as of move 3 we have a completely new game. This move has never been played in top tier chess games, and it's very interesting. How does this h5 work with the Rossolimo? So Ding, of course, probably never saw this move in his life, and he has to react to it somehow. So first he goes h4. h3, probably always a useful move, taking away g4 from black's pieces in the future, and also prevents h4 h3 in the future. So just waiting to see what Carlsen's plan is here. Carlsen continues with e6. He wants to strike in the center with d5. We have c3. Ding also with the same idea, and now knight to f4, not allowing Ding to execute d4 as the e4 pawn is under attack. So here, instead of defending with d3 like Magnus did in the previous game, he goes e5 and challenges the knight. We have knight to d5 and now d4 by Magnus. We have c captures on d4, by Ding, c captures on d4 by Magnus, and Ding just castles here. We have d captures on c3, knight captures, we have knight captures and b captures, and here White is down a pawn, but he has a lot of open lines he can use to attack. So queen to c7, Magnus just continues development, and rook to e1 now, defending the e5 pawn. b6, preparing to fianchetto the bishop with bishop to b7, and now Ding goes for knight to g5. He's preparing queen to f3 to go for this pawn. And if you're thinking about grabbing a pawn, like it's a free pawn or something, then bishop to f4, and it's a problem, since now there's a double attack on your knight here, and after a bishop here, you're gonna get queen here, and it's just gonna be a lot of free moves for white. So instead, after this, knight to g5, we have bishop to b7 by Magnus, and now queen to f3. Ding goes for that f7 pawn, and this is where the party really starts. Here Magnus just captures on e5. He says, okay, I'm attacking your queen, defending f7, and also there's now an open attack from my bishop to your queen. So Ding goes queen to f4, says, okay, now there's a double attack on your knight, and if you move it, I'm just going to capture on f7. And Magnus just defends, bishop to d6. So what was Ding's idea here? Well, here Ding played rook captures on e5, and he eliminated the defender of the f7 square. And the Magnus went for bishop captures on e5, although a slightly more accurate move would have been castles, but then it seems it's just like a forced draw. It is a disgusting engine line, of course. But I am going to show it as it's very interesting. So you castle to safety first, prepare to capture next, but now Ding would have queen to h4 going for captures and mate. So if you react to this, then you no longer get a chance to capture the rook. So f6 is what you have to play here. You have to go for the knight. Queen captures, threatens mate here. So captures on g5, and now bishop to d3. Again with the same mating idea, bishop d3 check followed by bishop g6 and queen h7 mate. So rook captures on f2, making some room for your king here, and now to not lose, white would have to settle for a draw here. Check king f8, check king f7, and now queen to h5 check with a repetition here. So this is basically what happens if Carlsen goes for the castles move, which is the more precise move. However, Magnus captured it right away, and now he allows Ding the initiative. Queen captures on f7 with check, king to d8, and now bishop to a3. And here Carlsen has to block this bishop with bishop to c6, or start running away with the king, then make room for the king on b7, for example, to get this rook into the game. But Magnus just went for a6 instead. It's a very greedy move, but it's not just that it's greedy, it also completely blunders the game. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find the winning idea for Ding while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations. There are two winning options here. One is the one Ding played, and the other one is a bit more forcing. So congratulations if you found either of those. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's knight captures on e6 with check. But also rook 8 to d1 works, as this is what Ding played. So we're just going to show captures first, as it pretty much ends the game on the spot. There's a fork here, so you have to capture the knight if you don't want to part with your queen. And now the hard move to find queen captures on e6. You don't allow the king to escape here, and now you have these bishops slicing all the way here. The queen prevents the king from escaping, and next move rook to d1 ends the game. There is no way black can meet this move. But Ding went with a slightly different move order. He went to rook to d1 first, and now it kind of looks like he gave Magnus a chance to save his king with king to c8, which is what Magnus played. But Ding just continues very fiercely with rook captures on d7. Here Magnus finds a very interesting idea, bishop to h2 check. Point is that you have to choose king h1 or king f1. If you go king to f1, then queen captures on c3, and white can no longer win this game. You don't have a continuation, you don't have a useful check. And after something like rook captures on b7, you might even lose the game, because after queen to a1 check, you're just at mercy of the black queen. Queen e2 you're going to capture here with check, king e1 or something, you're going to go queen b1 check. Now you can even capture this bishop and so on. So not much you can do here. Or if you go, for example, to e1, then you have queen to b1 check again, and if you move king d2, now you capture on b5 while defending d7 so you don't allow mate, and rook to d8 is coming. If you play something like knight captures here, then just queen d5 check picks up the rook here. So really tricky position, but a lot of poison to the position, which Magnus finds with this bishop to h2 move. However, Ding goes for king to h1, and now Magnus doesn't really have a good continuation here. You don't have a square for your queen. All of these are covered by the bishops. Well, you could capture on c3, but that's now it's not very useful. Now here you just play bishop to f8. There are other moves that win. Of course, you could play king captures here, but bishop to f8 is the most straightforward one with the simple threat of queen here, which will deliver checkmate. So you would have to go for something like queen to b8 instead, but still it is very winning. Here there's a very nice trick, rook to d8 check. You sacrifice the rook, and after rook captures, queen captures on e6 with check. And now it's just a nice queen c4 check. King has to move, and after, well, no, king cannot move anywhere since the bishops are slicing all the way here. You have to block, and queen captures on c6 is checkmate. So here, after king to h1 by Ding, Magnus decides, okay, I have to give up the queen. And now Ding just captures it with check. We have rook captures, bishop captures back, so you don't lose the bishop as well. And now knight captures on e6, threatening checkmate on c7. We have bishop to e5, centralizing the bishop, not allowing checkmate, and bishop to f8. Now Ding finds the move that we also looked at in the other line. Again, these squares are covered. The queen to e8 will be checkmate. So bishop to c6, not allowing that, but now just bishop captures on g7, forcing more trades. Bishop to d6, you cannot capture, of course, because it's just instant mate. So the bishop has to keep an eye on this square. But now just bishop captures on h8. And here rook captures on a2 by Magnus. He still has the two bishops and the rook. There might be some back rank issues here, but Ding goes for queen g8 check, king to d7, and now just knight to f8 check, which wins the rook. So it was in this position on move 27 that Magnus Carlsen resigned the game. So really wild stuff. Game 3, every game incredible. I have no idea what they're doing. Well, what Magnus is doing. I mean, it's working. Everyone's having a lot of fun here, and everyone is enjoying it. So I do encourage it. But yeah, here we resigned because after you eliminate check, just queen captures here, and now it's queen and bishop against two bishops. So of course, completely winning for Ding. So yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it, and we can only hope that game 4 continues in the same fashion with some crazy moves. But yeah, you know, if you face bishop to b5, the Rossolimo, do give h5 a try if you enjoyed it. So yeah, once again, I do hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Anmol Mohanty, Medhat Salem, Tono Korvitz, Colin Packard, and Thomas Valeri for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the 4th game, probably of the Ding-Carlsen match, and we can only hope that it ends by Carlsen winning so we have an even crazier Armageddon. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.